Today's episode is one that moved me deeply, and I think it will move you too. I had the incredible honor of sitting down with Steve Wampler, a man whose life and mission are as inspiring as they are humbling. In this conversation, we talked about so much more than disability. We talked about fatherhood, resilience, purpose, and what it really means to show up for your children, even in the face of unimaginable challenges. Now, Stephen's honesty and strength shine through every moment of this episode. His story and the story of the Wampler Foundation remind us what's possible when we embrace life with intention and lead with heart. We hope that by listening, you'll be inspired to not only reflect, but to take action, to donate, to share, and to help more kids experience the joy and transformation of Camp Wamp. All right, well, welcome back, everybody. We've got another exciting episode of Disability Warriors, the Download, coming up this week. I am so excited for the guests that I have on this week, like I am every single time we record, but this one is extra special because it's somebody who I met online because of their work helping people with disabilities, somebody who's a social media influencer, but really somebody who is focused on making a difference in the larger world. And today is Steve Wampler. Just by a little way of background, Steve Wampler, he's a father, a disability advocate, and the first man with cerebral palsy to climb El Capitan in Yosemite. But actually, those achievements aren't what we're here to talk about today. This is a special month this month, isn't it, Stephen?
Yes, it is.
And it's Father's Day coming up
Yep.
in a couple weeks. And we're going to be focused on talking about fatherhood, which is something that, I was thinking about this last night, Steve. So many men are uncomfortable talking about fatherhood with each other.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Yeah.
And one thing, I noticed that a lot of mothers come together and they talk about their kids
Yeah.
and they share parenting books, but it's almost like taboo for
I know.
two dads to sit there when I'm hanging around with, my buddies, or when I'm talking to people. We talk about news, we talk about the sports.
Yep.
We're not really talking about being a dad
Our kids.
or our kids.
Yeah.
It's like we're running from something.
Yeah.
But what's even more rare is to talk about what it's like being a father when you're disabled yourself, or when you have different challenges, which is something that you and I, in different ways, of course, but we both live with. So I'm excited to have this conversation with you, and I really appreciate you being here and the transparency that I know you're going to offer everybody.
Cool.
Let me ask you a question, Steve. And I told you, earlier, I don't really follow much of a script, but this is a question that I thought of when I was just sitting there thinking about you earlier. Tell me about your dad.
My dad and mom were very tough. East Coast kind of people. They always survived. They were expecting a lot out of all of us, including myself. And they gave me no pity, basically treated me the same way he treated all four of the other kids.
When I was thinking about that question before I asked it, there's two different responses that you always get when you ask somebody about their dad. Nobody ever says, my dad was all right.
Yeah.
They either say, I had the most amazing dad of all time. He was a good father. He was a hard worker. He was a good husband to my mother. You either get wonderful things, or you hear a response that's like, he was tough. But what I'm interested in is really the follow-up question, which is, because you're a dad now. So what are
right.
the lessons, positive or maybe not so positive, that you took away from your father that you apply and give to your kids?
Okay. I'm gonna ask the same to you. Um, I kind I took the stance of not being as tough. I I expected a lot of my kids, but I made a conscious decision not to be not to be my father. And how was it for you?
So it's very interesting. Um, my dad, and I don't want to, so my dad will probably listen to this.
Yeah,
He's an extremely supportive father, but I don't think that I'm going to say anything that he doesn't know. Um, my dad was very focused on his work when we were growing up. When he was home, he did the
yeah,
best that he could to be present for me and my brother. But my dad had a job that took him away from the house a lot. And there was a lot of the time when it was me and my brother and my mom. And I don't think I realized when I was a child that it was a sacrifice that he was making, and that
yeah.
I know that being away from his family hurt him just as much as it was challenging for us to not have him there all the time. I don't want to make it sound like I had an absent father. He was in the business
Right.
world, and
I
for his job, he literally was traveling all over the world.
yeah.
He was able to provide for us in a way that very few fathers have an opportunity to do for their children. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he got me all the way through to law school without me having a cent of debt, um, which allowed me, by the way, to take some risks once I was a lawyer that other young lawyers can't. Because I was debt free, I only worked for a law firm for a year and a half or 2 years before I said, I'm going to start
Wow.
my own thing. But I didn't have anybody knocking on my door for a payment every month, you
Right.
know? And so without all of his hard work, there's no way that all of the great things that we are doing would be possible. At the same time, the lessons that I learned are I really want to do as much as I can to be present for my kids.
Exactly.
And, you know, at this, when it was easier 5 or 6 years ago when my business was a lot smaller. Now we've got 60-ish employees. We've got, we've got a practice that's nationwide. And so it's very demanding of me and my time, and it does require me to travel a lot. But the little things that are important to me that I try and improve upon, which I know my dad wished he could have done, are like
Mm-hmm.
when I'm home, it's I might not be the dad who's able to coach my kid's soccer team because that guy has to be there at 5 o'clock and I just can't be. My
Right.
clients need more than of my time than that. But I pick up my kids from practice every day. They
Yeah.
see me at the end. They see me watching them. And I, my dad, one thing that he did always do was take me and my brother, who's 18 months younger than me. He would take us on like father son trips every year, something like that. I do that with my kids. In fact, I'm taking my daughter to Las Vegas next week to go attend a concert. But it's just that quality time. It's like 3 days
Exactly.
where I'm not Michael Liner disability warrior. I'm not
Right.
Michael Liner cowboy, although that's a pretty good
Exactly.
Michael Liner
Yeah.
too. Um,
Exactly.
I'm just Michael Liner the dad,
Yep.
and I am so grateful that I'm able to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
I would say my dad went to the motions, was gone a lot, work 6 days a week, and never coached. never picked us up, was there, but really not there. And
Yeah.
I was there all the way through my kids going up to college, and, and then um it was basically their time to go.
Yeah. You know, um, I'm just thinking about how, my own, and, I have what people call an invisible disability, right? So, um, when somebody meets you, Steve, and we're having a conversation, they can tell that you have cerebral
Yeah.
palsy. There's no hiding it,
Yeah,
okay?
no, I
Somebody would look at me and have no idea
yeah,
what I'm wearing. Um,
exactly.
you know, I went to a special school, you know this. I went to a special school when I was growing up in Detroit for children who had learning and behavior issues, which, by the way, again, credit to my dad. Because of his hard work, he could afford to send me to an expensive school.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm thinking about how, even, and I had epilepsy as a child. I have motor tic syndrome, and cluster headaches as an adult. So a lot of neurological issues that nobody can see.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that's really challenging for me as a father, uh, you know, I've always had attention issues. My attention's always divided, but this right here is my biggest problem as a
Oh
dad. I'm
yeah.
holding up my phone for people who are listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
And when this is a culture now of people who struggle to pay attention to things. But one thing that I really want to do better at is putting my phone away when I'm with my kids, because there's always somebody who wants my attention. There's always somebody who's grabbing at me. There's always an app that's popping up and saying, uh, give me attention, give me attention. But, that's what it's like for everybody. Then add on top of it the fact that I struggle to focus on things to begin with.
Yeah.
I would say that that's the biggest thing that my kids would, if I were to like think about what my kids would say about how I am as a father, they'd say, he's there, but he's always focused on a million things at
Right.
once. I can't, when I take my kids out to play, they're like, watch me, watch me, watch me.
Right.
And I
Exactly.
want to watch them, but it's hard.
I think growing up without a phone really did a lot um to make me more present as a dad than anything, because uh, cell cell phones were really not a thing until like 10 years ago. And
Right.
thank God they were around. Yeah.
What do you think your kids would say about you as a father?
Uh, I would say they would say I was around, and I went to all the games. I was there. I was there all the way through. Yeah.
What were the challenges that you had, with, being a father with cerebral palsy?
I don't have I didn't have any real challenges. Um I took them to school, I took them to practices, I took them to wherever because I could, and it just was a normal thing. I couldn't change diapers or anything like that, but I was around all the time.
And I think that that's all that the kids are going to remember anyways. They would probably rather have, somebody who's around and focused on them than somebody who's changing their diapers and throwing a baseball and doing, other things that might be more challenging or look different.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree.
Tell me about the Stephen Wampler Foundation. What made What made your family start that?
I grew up going to a camp not far from where I am now. Um, it changed my whole outlook on life. It forced me to look at what I could do versus what I could do. And I found out I could do a lot more than I thought I could. My mom and dad wanted, wanted me to do more. And it just basically woke me up and said, you've got this disability and you've got to make the most of life. And I went into college, got a degree in environmental engineering, and I got married, which was never, I never thought I would get married at all or have kids. And can't, can't really change my life in a big way. And that's why we're doing what we do now. We're changing its lives one at a time.
How many kids attend the camp?
About 100 kids per year goes through camp, and then from all over the country.
Is there a different process for finding like counselors to be there with the kids?
Um, yes, they're all between the age of 18 and 24 because they're all in college.
They're
And
all in
when they
college.
age out, we have to find more newer kids every year.
Is there a recruiting effort at colleges around the country to
Yes,
find them?
big, big, big time.
I imagine. I
Yeah,
imagine.
and it not only teaches the kids that go to camp, but the people involved, like the counselors, the staff, everybody changed with better.
Was it a, I mean, I imagine setting up a camp had to be like an incredible process, especially at the beginning before, you know, everybody knew the camp had a reputation. Was it hard to get campers originally or to get people who were interested and willing to come and help?
Believe it or not, yes. Campers are hard to come by because mom and dad don't want to let go. I mean, we are authentic outdoor wilderness camp. The campers sleep outside under the stars. And a lot of the parents are like, what? They're not even in a tent? No, they're not. They sleep outside and sleeping bag on a cot. And it's, yeah.
Do kids have the exact same experiences that they would at any other camp?
No, no. The experience is one of a kind. It's like no other. Most camps are in a cabin with a heated pool, indoor cafeteria, and we are the exact opposite. We have a 9-acre lake that the kids sleep or swimming, and our dining hall is open air. So you're basically outside for 7 days.
Wow. Are there multiple sessions throughout the year of the camp?
There are 5 sessions.
5 sessions.
Yeah.
And so if I'm a parent who's hearing you and I talk and I'm interested in sending my kid to Camp Wamp,
Yep.
how do I do that?
It's on campwamp.org or stephenjwampler.org, and you can go on there and sign your child up today.
Um, and one of the things that I think is I know at least your son Joe,
Right?
he's involved with everything that you're doing.
He is the driver behind our TikTok and our Instagram account.
Does he get involved with the foundation beyond that?
A little bit. He'll be here at camp once or twice during the summer, but not really. He's working, and my daughter's working, so they're busy.
He keeps busy.
Yep, very
Yeah.
busy.
Do
Yeah.
you live near the camp year round?
No, I live about 13 hours south
You're in the
in
San Diego area.
San Diego. Yep. Yeah.
How did you end up on the West Coast to begin with, being from Pittsburgh?
My dad got out. I was born in Chicago in 1908 after he graduated from Northwestern, and he got out and went to California and opened up a practice.
So you were raised in Southern California then.
No, in Northern California.
You were raised in Northern California,
Yeah, Bay Area. Yeah,
in the Bay Area.
yeah,
Okay. Oh, that's
yeah.
interesting. I didn't realize that. I thought that you were that you also were on the East Coast at one point, but you've been pretty
No.
solidly in California your whole life.
And where you from?
I'm originally from the Detroit area, Detroit,
Oh,
Michigan. Yeah.
okay. Are you there
Um,
now?
no, so we're based in Cleveland, Ohio. I
Okay.
went to law school in Cleveland and ended up staying. It's been, a great climate for me to, start the type of law practice that I have. And especially the last couple years, it's kind of been a launching pad. We've been able to add really great people locally, but now we're also able to, um, we've got people all over the country. In fact, I just hired someone last week who is in the Bay Area as well. So
Oh,
we've got people all over the country now.
wow.
It's just different platform than before, but it's still really exciting. Uh,
Oh, cool.
one thing that I know I need to ask you about
Yeah.
is climbing El Capitan. Tell us about that.
Oh my God. It was probably the worst and best experience of my life. I don't remember a lot of it because I was so tired, so out of my mind. But I'm glad I did it. It was harder than I ever thought it would be mentally. Um, phys- 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 physically, it was um very demanding. Um, but mentally, I would say that was the worst part of the whole thing. It was 6 days on
Wow.
the face, and I didn't sleep for 8 days before, during, and after, and that's what I think was the most challenging aspect of the whole thing, the lack of sleep.
You must have been almost delirious by the end.
I was, yes, I was definitely out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And I didn't even think about going to the doctor after I got down.
really.
Never crossed my mind.
So it took 6 days to get up.
Yep,
How long does it take to get down?
9 hours.
So going down's a lot
Um,
easier than going up.
Well, I didn't do it. I had to go down the back way. It was like a trail. And then from the mud just turned me down the back.
Got it.
Yeah.
Um, I want to go back and keep talking about fatherhood because it's such an important topic, and we're celebrating Father's Day in a couple weeks. What would you say maybe we covered it already just with talking about the presents, but what is the best advice that you would give to a new father?
I would say being a new father, be, pre- be present in your kids' lives.
So
But
being present is the most important advice
yeah,
that you would give to someone.
being present and being there for your kids all the
Yeah,
time is
yeah,
number one priority.
I agree. And I guess, and this is a little bit of self-reflection mixed in here. I sometimes think it doesn't matter how present you are. It's something that we always are chasing and thinking that we can do better. Because every moment with kids is so precious and important. You don't want to waste a single second of it. We have a friend crawling by us there.
Yes, we do.
Who is that?
That's Georgie. Georgie, what she's a white Persian, doll-faced Persian.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just saw some fur scurrying across. There we go.
Hey, there's the other one
We're
right
back
there.
in. We're back in.
There's the
Um,
other one.
well, again, I'm just so grateful that you took the time out of your busy day to sit with me and reflect on being a father. And I'm one thing that I want to say is we're just so dedicated to the mission that you're espousing, which is really just trying to preserve and restore dignity for people who maybe don't feel it every day. You know this, but I'll share it with the audience. From the in the entire month of June, all of the proceeds that come in through our the TikTok proceeds through the Backwards Hat Gives Back project are going to be donated to your foundation to help
And
kids at the camp.
we
And
can't thank you enough for that.
well, what I'm really hoping is that it's able to you're so welcome, but I'm hoping that we'll at least raise enough money that we can send a couple kids to camp
That would
next
be
year. Yeah.
incredible. Yeah.
That's what we're really aiming for. So the more
Because
people who watch this, like it, share it with other people, um, all that does is increase the size of the donation, increase the impact that we can have in helping give kids who might not have another way to have such an experience, give them that summer camp experience that I had when I was a kid, and it's just so important.
oh my God, it's so important. Unreal.
Yeah,
This changes everything.
absolutely.
All right.
Thank you. All
Yeah,
right.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. This Father's Day, we invite you to be part of something bigger. Every listen, every share, and every view of this campaign helps us support the incredible work of the Stephen J. Wampler Foundation, sending kids with disabilities to life-changing summer camp that builds confidence, independence, and joy. Through our Backwards Hat Gives Back program at Liner Legal, 100% of proceeds from our TikTok content in the month of June will be donated to support these young disability warriors and help them move mountains of their own. Also, if you or someone you love is fighting for Social Security disability benefits, we are here for you. Visit survey.linerlegal.com to schedule your free case review today. Because everyone deserves to be seen, supported, and surrounded by advocates who care, let's move mountains together. Backwards hats on, let's go to camp.